Hey guys, welcome back to the shop. In this video, we talk about my new cheap 4-post lift that I got. We put the front sheet metal back on the Falcon and the sway bar too. Maybe some other little things. Let's get going.
Our chief engineer spends most of his time in his machine shop, testing his automats over and over again.
What I want to get done today is these are fender guards, like mud guards for the Falcon. Let me show you where they go. They go right in here. And they mount up to, actually that's the other side. That's the wrong side. You know, right here. I still need to trim this one so it goes around my support brace that I made in there. So we'll get that cut up. But anyways, they go in here. I want to get these cleaned up and mounted today. And then I want to start putting the front sheet metal back together. I was holding off on putting the fenders on here because I wanted to run all the battery cables and everything. But with the lift, I mean, it's so easy now just to get under the car. I'm not going to let that slow me down. So we're going to get that mounted up on the car, maybe the front fenders. And then I also want to look at that sway bar down there. I don't know if you can see it. So that sway bar is what they have designed for this TC, or who makes this front end? Heights front end. And with my oil pan, it's going to hit all that shit. So I'm probably going to have to drop it down or move it forward. I don't know. We'll get under there and we'll take a look. So that's the stuff that's on tap for the Falcon today. I want to share with you a tip that makes these old cars sound like new cars. I don't mean the exhaust. I mean like when they roll down the road and they're rattling and clanking and doing all that stuff. Let me show you something kind of cool. There it is. 3M strip caulk. Let me show you what this is. So it comes in strips like this. You put it on all metal to metal surfaces, like where fenders bolt to the apron or where these mud guards bolt to the cowling, areas like that, and it eliminates vibration and it just makes the car sound solid. It's a great tip. I found an Easter egg. I didn't know where these were, and I went looking through my drawer that has all the stuff, and apparently I labeled it. Thanks, past Rob for future Rob. Okay, so what I need to do here is figure out where this notch is going to be for that tube. So I'm going to use a silver Sharpie. Let's see, we'll go full up against the side here to get our reference for that. So about right in there. All right, we've got this kind of notched or figured out here where it's gonna go. Actually, let's bring that down a little bit further. All right, I'm gonna go notch that out and we'll see how it fits. All right, I've got it trimmed up and it looks like everything's gonna fit real nice. Oh yeah, that is the way. Okay, so after years of having these fenders on and off and losing hardware and finding hardware, I'm going to replace the hardware. So I got to pull all these clips out and replace the bolts. Now the only thing is these are 5/16 fine thread. I think it's like 24 or 20 or something, I don't know. The only ones I could find were coarse thread. Not a big deal because we got these cage nuts that go in these holes, except for this hole. Now this hole, I couldn't get a cage nut there because my 1 3/4 DOM that I built up to reinforce the front because the Mustang 2 suspension removes a lot of the rigidity. I already drilled and tapped that for the fine thread bolt, so I'm going to have to reuse one over here. Now on the other side, I haven't done it yet. I think I'm going to, I'll probably drill and tap this side for fine thread also, just so it like stays uniform across, because I don't want them to look different. Just a little OCD. But anyways, that's what we're gonna do now. We're gonna drill and tap this, and then we're gonna get to putting the fenders on the car. We'll pull all those old cage nuts out too. Worth mentioning is that up in here on the bottom, see if I can see it there. See if we can get it up there. So that, there's a special cage nut that's designed to go in that hole. It's a little square hole. The 70 Mustang has one too, and I don't have that cage nut. It's around somewhere, or it was when I took everything apart. Anyways, they're $8 a piece. I'm not going to spend $8 on a nut. So I just, I cut one of these apart, one of these old cage nuts, and I just used the insert part and I tack welded it up into the hole. And then we're going to use one of these fine thread bolts to run it in. No problem, easy fix. And this right here, in case you were wondering, I forgot to weld that up. I shaved all the molding down here on the bottom rocker, which it was beat anyways, and I just like it better without it. So I gotta fix that. And I am gonna buy another quart of this Wimbledon white, and I'm gonna shoot this. This is just like an ivory, satin ivory spray bomb. It matches pretty close. There's just no shine on it. But yeah, gonna do that soon. But gotta weld that up first. This side of the fender up, and the back of the fenders are good. We're going to move on to the gravel shield and putting the hood latch and the grill in. Okay, the next thing to go is the rock guard or gravel shield, and it's gonna kind of come in through here and go across there, and it's gonna limit my access to this. I want to make an adjustment on how this looks. I'm probably just gonna get the body saw and kind of cut it up at an angle, or maybe just round it out here so it's not as sharp. I just kind of want to get rid of this point. So I'm gonna make that cut, and then we'll come back and do the gravel shield. Okay, we've got this cut out now, notched, and it's a lot better now. I've got some relief there. It's a little tight here. I may run something there. I don't know, a little piece of pinch welding or pinch molding or something. But anyways, that's good. I touched it up with a little bit of spray paint. It looks like shit right now. Looks like crap right now, but it'll dry and it'll all be good. All right, let's get that gravel shield on. If you were wondering what the original color of the Falcon was, there it is. It is Jamaican yellow. It's basically a white with some yellow in there. So there's a color difference. I don't know. I got an LED light on it right now, so I don't know how well it's actually reflecting the color. But there's Wimbledon white, and there's that Jamaican yellow. It's a cool color. I just didn't want to go back with it. Okay, getting somewhere now. I've got the gravel shield installed, and the fenders are all bolted down. I was looking for these strut deals here. I was like tearing this place apart looking for them, but I found them. Apparently, I left them in that toolbox. I don't know. I never want to have a car apart this long again, or at least more than one of them apart at the same time. Stuff is everywhere. I've blown the shop apart. There's parts everywhere. It's a mess. I'm kind of disappointed in myself for letting it get that way. But anyways, lesson learned for the next time. Okay, so I'm going to put this other one on the driver's side fender here, and then I guess I'm going to see if I can't locate all, 6 of the fender bolts, and we'll hang the, bumper bolts, and we'll hang the bumper on here. That's pretty exciting. At least I found 3. It means I only got to make 2. Just looking at my tap drill reference chart here for 7/16 14, which is what these are. I got to make a couple. So 7/16 14 is going to be a drill letter U is what we're looking for. Letter U. U. I don't know if you've ever had to make hardware before. Make a nut. If you ever had to go through this process in which I'm about to expound, but here's how it's done. You have hex rod like this, right? This is aluminum, so I'm not going to use that. But I have several other pieces. This right here is a good candidate. It is, can you see that? It's 4340, so that's a good strong steel. What we need to do is we need to poke a letter U hole in the end of this. We'll hit it first with a pilot drill, then we'll through drill it with a U. I'll drill it deep enough to make 2 of these, and then I will run a tap down it and part it and make 2 nuts out of this. Come along, won't you? Well, I just screwed up. I thought I had this thing running, the camera running when I was making this part, but I guess I didn't. All I did was I was explaining that I center drilled it, the center drill, and then I did an initial drill that was undersized, and the final drill, which is in here now, is the letter U that's needed for the 7/16 14 thread that I'm going to tap in it. So that's all I'm doing, and right now I'm parting it off. I'm a bonehead for missing that. My bad. Okay, tricks of the trade from a home shop. I'm not going to say machinist, but a home shop guy that has a lathe and makes parts. There is a million ways to do something, and the only wrong ones are the ones that don't work. So here's what I'm going to do. I've got my nut chucked up. I've got my tap in a Jacobs chuck. Yes, it's probably not the best way to do it, but that's what I'm going to do. And what I'm going to do to get this thing started is it's right in the, it's all lined up. I'm going to run the headstock on the lathe, and I'm going to turn it off, and then to get this thing started, I'm just going to shove the tailstock into it, let it eat a couple threads, and then I'm going to unhook it from here and tap it by hand. Let me show you. Okay, you see how I did it there? Now what I'll do is I will take it off the tailstock, remove the tailstock, come back here. I'll go get a tap handle, and I've got enough taps or enough threads tapped in there that I know it's straight. I'm gonna go get a tap handle. I'm gonna run it in by hand the rest of the way. To keep the headstock from moving, I engage the back gear. If you don't know what that means, it doesn't matter. If you've never tapped a thread before, the reason I'm going forward and then backwards is a chunk of material builds up on the cutting side of the tap, and when you go backwards, you break it off and you free it up. Factory kind of nuts. These nuts that I made on the lathe. Bumper is on and I'm whipped. It's probably close to midnight or somewhere around there. This thing is coming together and it feels really good to see it like this. I'm gonna call it a night and we'll get back after it tomorrow. Okay, so I'm back out in the shop, and that actually took more than overnight. It ended up being a couple days. Whoops. Ended up being a couple days. I got wrapped up in a bunch of stuff, and that's just the way life goes. Sometimes you can't get right back to what you wanted to, but you know, that's just the way it goes, especially when you are a dad and a father. Wait, those are the same. A dad and a husband and all that stuff, and a guy that has to go to work. Maybe one day I won't have to go to work. That would be great, but until that day, I'm going to work. Anyways, so we're back out here, and what I'm going to do is we're going to get the grill and the headlight buckets, well, the bucket trim, on the front of the Falcon here. One of the cool things about having a lift is you can kind of like stop stuff right where you need it to be. Or right where you want it to be, like work at it like chest height. It's kind of cool. All right, the grill for this, I haven't moved this grill in like a couple years, but it's sitting over here. So we'll go grab it. Man, I gotta clean this place up. It's getting blown apart again. Now the real question is, where's all the hardware for the grill? Okay, so on the top of this thing, I've got some of that that 3M strip caulk in here because I made a plate that covers the area right up here in between the front of the grill and the core support. I don't know if I still have it. I think I decided to remake it and it might be lost. So you say bye-bye? Say bye-bye. We're going to take a nap. Bye-bye. Yeah, it's nap time. Okay, this is my problem. The sway bar is connected on the other side, but it hits the oil pan. Let me show you. It's going to hit the oil pan right here when I lift it up, which I kind of thought it would. So my idea was to drop it down. You see, I had to notch the frame here to get this to fit up in there initially, and it's a good fit, but my oil pan's in the way. So, and the way it is right now, I won't be able to, even if I swung it down and like kind of rotated it back, I wouldn't be able to get the other side hooked up. So I think I could probably work on shortening that link because I've got room here. You know, I've got 2.5 inches probably here. Let me measure that. So I've got, that was a really good guess. That's about 2.5 inches, 2 to be safe. So if I cut that in half and I just removed 1 inch from this spacer, dropped it down a little bit, I think that might do. Let me do that. I'm gonna pull that spacer off and drop this down 1 inch and see what it does for my overall clearance. So I'm gonna pull that off, chuck it up in the lathe, remove an inch. All right, I cut that side down. It does clear some more stuff, like it brings it down far enough, but it doesn't bring it back. You know, maybe I could heat and bend this thing a little bit more. Like, oh man, I don't want to do that. I mean, it's fine. You can heat and bend them. It's a solid rod, but anyways, there's a lot of contact right here with all these lines. That's super close, way closer than I want to be. I don't know. Maybe I'll just go with a splined sway bar, which is more work, but whatever. One thing I've been wanting to share is I got a lift in the shop. It's a 4-post lift, and the reason I went with a 4-post over a 3-post is these right here. Now, if you don't know what those are, these are brackets that bolt on, or they kind of clip on to each post, and basically you can bring the ramps all the way down, and it lifts the weight of the lift up on those wheels, and then you can move it around. And I didn't want to permanently, I don't have a ton of space in here. I mean, I got more space than I used to, but I didn't want to like lock this spot down. So I wanted that lift movable. I was gonna get a 2-post, and then I figured out with 2-post, I mean, you're kind of, once you put it in there, that's where it's gonna live. So anyways, I got this 4-post lift. So the coolest part about having the lift is, I mean, check this out. So accessible to get under here and work on things. I'm talking about fuel lines, brake lines, emergency brake cables, any rear end stuff. And can you just look at, this is why you buy cars from the West, okay? I'm in Alabama, and we have a little bit of rust, nothing compared to the North, but this is why you find a rust-free car. This car's 1963. Look at the floors in this freaking car. I mean, dude, these floors are perfect. There's no rust, no rot. Anyways, I'm super pumped to have this lift in the shop. It's really gonna open up things for me. And storage is also a big thing. A reason I wanted to get a 4-post lift. One car up, one car under, and then another car back behind here. The plan here is to get the Mustang done soon. It's gonna be in paint, and it'll probably live under because I'll be able to drive it in and out. And then I can bring the F100 in here and start tearing it apart. So adding this lift to the shop has really been a big deal to me.